I need to talk about the abuse I experienced from a very popular autistic TikToker.
If you haven't watched Florence or Ellie's videos, or Trisha's so far about Matt Marshall, you should go do that. I'm going to tag them in the caption below. But I'm making a video because I have some more context to add to the situation, specifically in the context of Florence. So for the past 8 or 9 months, I've been in a group chat with Matt Marshall, Morgan Foley, and Emily Ann. We all kind of got to know each other through Autism TikTok, became friends. Originally, I was in that group chat without Matt there, but we ended up adding him later on. And it was a space where we would go to share things about ourselves. But as I've been reflecting on it, and Emily, Morgan, and I have been reflecting on it, we've been realizing that we didn't really use that space in the same way that Matt did, that it was a lot of Matt coming to us with wanting validation for certain things, whereas we came with asking for advice regarding certain things, and that Matt wouldn't engage in things that he was not personally interested in. But anyways, that's not super important. The important part is that on August 2nd, the day that things really went down with him in Florence, he went in our group chat and he told us out of the blue, we had never heard of Florence before, that he was being accused of emotional abuse by Florence, and that Florence had connected with his past ex, Katie, as she mentions in her video, and that Katie also felt the same way, and he was panicking. And, when we pressed him with questions of why are you panicking? If this isn't real, why are you panicking? Also, just the audacity to come to a group of all women and admit emotional abuse. We wouldn't all be seeing red flags and questioning him is just wild to me. But he was just very weird, very evasive. He kept not giving us any context. We kept asking for more context over and over again, because we all knew there's no way that a woman's gonna accuse this out of the blue with no real reason. Why? There's got to be some reasons here, especially if she's talked to your ex and your other ex went through a similar experience. Major red flag. And he continued to say over and over again, as we asked for context, saying just ask me any questions. So we'd ask questions and he would not answer them. He was being very evasive. Again, red flag. I knew that there was more to the story that I just was not aware of. And then he went on to say that Florence basically was being triggered by him because she had had a previous narcissistic ex that was causing her to project that onto him. And I have mixed feelings around using the word narcissist, because people with NPD are humans, and I don't think that they should be vilified. It is a disability, but I also, just opposite of what Matt has said over and over again, your disability is not an excuse to be a terrible person. Your disability does not give you an excuse to be an asshole. It doesn't give you an excuse to abuse people. It's your responsibility to minimize the impact that it has on other people as much as physically possible. But anyways, he accused her of just being triggered. And I was well, maybe, just maybe, you're doing some things that, I don't know, maybe triggering her because they're the same. Maybe you're also doing abusive things. And also, I think it's really messed up for you to try to discredit somebody by essentially calling them crazy, but with therapy language. And that you're doing the same thing that men always do to women. He did not like any of this, okay? I was the predominant one in the group chat who was coming back at him with these issues, recognizing that he was using Darvo, and eventually got to the point where he started just straight up gaslighting me. Yeah. Basically saying that he appreciated that, I was sticking up for women, but, he had racked his brain. Okay, you guys, he racked his brain, and there was just no way that he could have emotionally abused her or strung her along, that he'd been nothing but honest with her, when no one was saying that he was being dishonest. So again, that was, every accusation is a confession, I guess. I don't know. It was just, the whole thing was so weird. And when he didn't get what he wanted from us, which was, because he kept saying I'm so scared, I'm so scared. And when we asked what he was scared of, he was I guess of Florence coming forward and sharing her story. And we were why is that a problem? If it's not true, you have receipts to back it up. Meanwhile, again, he's not sending us any screenshots. He's not showing us he's telling us what he wants us to know. And where that very much differs from how the rest of us operate in the group chat is if we had a problem with something, we would send screenshots almost immediately. Can you help me unpack this conversation? Because something went wrong and I'm trying to figure it out, sort of thing. That's not how Matt approached things. Matt told it his way, and he expected us to just accept it as fact. And he said basically that he was afraid that this was going to become another Dr. Kojo situation. He was very worried that people were going to misunderstand him. And at that point, I pretty much lost my shit. Because while, yes, that whole situation's been kind of sorted done for a while now. When that initially happened, when we realized Dr. Kojo was taking the videos of Matt and Emily and Morgan, he came to the group chat and he like brought it up, and Emily and Morgan were like, you know, I'm going to message him directly. The same thing to do, right? And Matt just like kind of stopped responding, and then he came back later and he was like, I made this video. And then we all watched the video and we were like, you are sicking your platform on him. Like, you're literally telling people to go to him and like try to have some form of this like justice. And in that moment, I immediately was like, Matt, this is racist. There's no other way to say it besides what you are doing is you are weaponizing your platform as a white person with a predominantly white audience against a black man. Does that mean that what Dr. Kojo did by stealing their content was right or should have been done? Absolutely not. However, you have to be conscientious about the way that you use your platform, especially as a white male presenting person. You cannot sick your platform or tell your viewers to go to somebody's page, especially a black person's page, because there will inherently be racism that white people bring with them. And that is exactly what happened. And when I brought this up to Matt back then, he basically said like, I've racked my brain. There's just no way that I could be racist because there's not a racist bone in my body. And not only is there no racist bones in my body, but I didn't message him ahead of time because he's such a big creator. There's just no way he would respond. And I was like, you didn't give him the benefit of the doubt to try, which this is the theme here with Matt. And I'm not bringing all this up to like dredge it up, but because literally when he said, I don't want to be misunderstood, like I was in the Dr. Kojo situation, I saw the pattern. Like, that's when everything really did break down for me, because I was like, oh, you're self-victimizing yourself. In every situation, you're the victim. You are not capable of recognizing when you have done anything wrong or owning up to it or taking any sort of accountability. And I reminded him then, it was racist then. It was due to his own doing and the way that he handled it, that he kind of took accountability for, but not really, and made several videos literally defending himself, framed as an apology. I'm like so mad at myself that I didn't speak publicly about it then and address it, but I just felt like a weird, like, I'm a white woman, where I just didn't want to speak over. There were plenty of people of color who were addressing it. I just didn't want to like speak over them. But now looking back on it, I do wish that I had said something and addressed it. But it is what it is now, I guess. But anyways, after that happened, he was upset with us because he didn't get the support or the advice on how to handle this incoming PR crisis. And so he decided that he was going to go to therapy, which I don't even, from my understanding, he's not even in therapy. I don't know that, like, that's kind of alleged, so whatever. But like, he came back an hour later and he gave us this long spiel about basically like guilt tripping us, essentially saying he came to us for support and he was upset that we didn't offer him support, which, like, you have 3 autistic bitches in this chat that are never going to offer blind support. We always have questions. We always want to know context. Like, we have never been these people that just offer blind support, or blind validation. Like, we want to know the context. So it just didn't make sense from the beginning. It was just very clear that what he was expecting when he came to that chat was just to be like, Matt, there's no way that you could be this person. Like, you're a soft boy, you know? Like, you're just so comfortable with your femininity. There's no way that there could be this toxic masculinity going on and you could be emotionally abusing people. That could not be you. When we were like, bitch, we don't know you in person. There's no way that, like, I'm gonna say that this woman is wrong when I also don't, I'm not witnessing this relationship, and I'm more inclined to believe the woman. And now, after talking to Florence personally, that's very much the case. Like, I was right. But anyways, when he realized it wasn't going to work on us, to guilt trip us, he then tried to go the apology route and said that he had talked to Florence and that, like, he was just going to try to fix things. He wasn't trying to date her again, but he was just trying to, like, you know, make up for the mistakes he made. And that's when I told him he needed to just stop talking. He needed to stop talking to everyone. And he also told us he was going to take a break from posting on TikTok because, you know, like, he clearly needs time to work on himself. Now I realize that was a strategic decision, that if he had made content on TikTok, then it would have increased the likelihood of somebody coming forward sooner. I'm glad that they still did come forward, though. And then after that, Morgan and I both realized that we had DMs from Florence. We were able to connect with Florence, and then that's when Florence came forward with this video. So I just wanted to offer my perspective, and that if Matt ever tries to come back with an apology, that apology is not genuine. Matt has not done the work. He has not done the work. He continues to not do the work, and he just wants to evade accountability at this point. And while I want to believe that people can change, I do not think that Matt is somebody who can, and especially in the way that he seeks a platform to have validation, that he needs to seek validation elsewhere through therapy, through healthier means, and not be on social media. And so I'm glad that he has deleted his account.